Once upon a time, when the seas were teeming with pirates, there was one man who turned the world upside down. His name was Gol D. Roger. This man was called the Pirate King, the most powerful pirate the entire world had ever known. When he was captured and publicly executed, he shouted words that changed the course of history. "My treasure, if you want it, find it. I have hidden it all in one place," and from that moment, the golden age of pirates began. We moved to a small town called Fuchsia, a quiet town on the shores of the East Blue Sea. In the tavern, there is a strange little boy wearing a straw hat that is too big for him. His name is Monkey D. Luffy. Luffy is not like other children. He does not dream of becoming a soldier or a farmer. Instead, he dreams of becoming the Pirate King. In that town, there was a pirate crew that visited the tavern from time to time, led by a man named Red-Haired Shanks. Luffy admired Shanks greatly. He followed him everywhere. He tried to imitate him and begged him to take him with him to sea. But Shanks always laughed and said, "You are too small, Luffy. The sea is no place to play." One day, while Luffy was rummaging through the warehouse, he found a small box. Inside was a strange-looking fruit, but he didn't know what it was. It was a devil fruit. With that bite, Luffy's body was changed forever. His body became rubbery, expanding and contracting, but he lost something even more precious. He could no longer swim. At the same time, a group of mountain bandits, led by an arrogant man named Higuma, arrives in the town. He mocks the pirates, smashes wine bottles, and threatens the innkeepers. Shanks doesn't answer him and laughs quietly. But he wasn't a coward. He just chose when to respond. When Higuma assaults one of his friends, Shanks's crew intervenes and stops it. But days later, Luffy is kidnapped by Higuma and thrown into the sea. Luffy, who can't swim, drowns until a huge sea monster appears. In a moment of heroism, Shanks rushes to his rescue. He saves Luffy, but pays the price. Shanks loses his left arm. He looks at Luffy and smiles. "You're okay, that's what matters." And at the moment of goodbyes, Shanks hands his signature hat to Luffy and says, "Give it back to me when you're a real man. When you're a great pirate." Years later, we see Luffy, now a young man, sailing the seas alone on a small boat. No map, no crew, but he has a great dream. "I will become the Pirate King," after Luffy sets sail across the East Blue Sea alone on a small boat. No crew, no map, not even enough food. All he has is a straw hat, a rubber body, and an unshakable dream, to become the Pirate King. But the first obstacle in his path isn't a sea monster or a violent storm. It's a barrel, a mysterious barrel floating on the high seas. Luffy approaches it and breaks it open on board. Out comes a young man who seems lost. His name is Kobe. Kobe is a shy, weak boy. He reluctantly works for a pirate crew led by an evil woman named Alvida. Kobe didn't dream of becoming a pirate. He longed for something entirely different. To join the Marines and become a soldier who protects justice. But his fear, weakness, and being under Alvida's control made him a prisoner of buried dreams. Luffy, with his spontaneous and honest personality, began speaking to Kobe in a different way. He didn't mock him. He didn't ridicule his dream. He simply told him, "If you want to become a Marine, do it." Luffy's words awakened something in Kobe's heart, courage he'd never known before. Meanwhile, Alvida arrives at the nearby island and discovers Kobe fleeing. Furious, she grabs him and is about to strike him. But Luffy intervenes. The battle begins. Alvida, with her heavy iron bar, tries to smash Luffy, but to no avail. Luffy, with his rubber body, easily dodges the blows. Then he delivers a powerful rubber punch. Alvida sends him flying into the sky.
One blow ends it. Kobe looks on in amazement. This is the power of willpower. Someone who won't back down from anyone. After the fight, Luffy restores Kobe's confidence and encourages him to join the Marines at the nearest station. And so, on the dock, Kobe and Luffy stand face to face. With rare courage, Luffy challenges the Marines to Kobe to prove his independence as a pirate. And so begins a unique friendship. Kobe joins the Marines. Luffy sails to his next destination. The sky is clear. The sea is restless. The adventure is just beginning. On the horizon, a new character appears, a strange man carrying 3 swords at his waist. It's Roronoa Zoro. Will he be an enemy, or the ally he's been waiting for? A few days ago, Helmep, the son of the base commander, tried to harm a little girl and her dog. But Zoro intervened and prevented it. In response, Morgan ordered the corrupt commander to imprison and torture him with a false promise of pardon if he held out for a month. Zoro remained silent, but he refused. Hunger ravaged his body and shackles bound his hands. But he asked. Luffy hears the story, clenches his fist, and says with determination, "That's enough. I'll free you myself." In a small town on the outskirts of the Grand Line, where justice is a poison that is exploited and fear dwells in the hearts of the innocent, the marine base of the corrupt officer Morgan imposed its absolute authority on the inhabitants. Morgan, known for his sharp steel fist, was not a leader, but a tyrant who ruled with an iron fist. His spoiled son, Helmi Po, stood behind him, hiding behind his father's authority, tampering with people's destinies as he pleased. Into this dark scene enters Luffy, the young man with the straw hat, full of enthusiasm and a big dream of becoming the Pirate King. His steps were light, but his ambition was heavier than a sailor's. As he wanders around the town, he hears of a terrifying man named Roronoa Zoro. It is said that he is a pirate hunter and a merciless killer. He is currently chained in the base yard, waiting to die. His curiosity leads him to the base. There, he sees a tall man tied to a wooden cross under the scorching sun. His face is calm, his eyes are closed, and his body is wounded. But he stands tall, unlike any prisoner. Zoro was more than just a warrior. It was a wall of solidity and a history of pain. Luffy approached him with his usual innocent smile and asked directly, "Do you want to join my crew?" "Hello?" "Zoro." He slowly opened his eyes. He looked at him with surprise mixed with sarcasm. Then he closed them again. There was a long story that couldn't be understood at first glance. In a distant place and a long time ago, Zoro was a child training in a small dojo. Day after day, he fought against a girl named Quina. She was the only one he could never defeat, despite his strength. They competed fiercely, vowing that one of them would become the greatest swordsman in the world. But one day, the dream was shattered when Quina suddenly passed away. She died in a mysterious accident, leaving a void in Zoro's heart. But the promise that bound them remained alive ever since. His sole goal was to fulfill his dream, wield her sword, and reach the top, no matter the cost. Helmsley, Morgan's son, promised Zoro that if he could go a week without eating or drinking, he would set him free. But the truth was another lie of the arrogant. Orders had already been given for his execution. Luffy, who couldn't stand injustice, exploded with rage. How could a man like Zoro kill so treacherously with his usual audacity? He stormed into the base, attacked the soldiers, and caused chaos. Then he reached Zoro, released his chains, and handed him his sword. That's when everything changed. Zoro grabbed his sword as if he was regaining his senses and prepared for the confrontation with his triple strikes and unique fighting style. He took down the soldiers one by one in an exciting scene. Together, Morgan and Luffy faced the evil embodied by the Marine captain. Morgan, despite his physical strength, was no match for Luffy's determination and super-elastic fist that shattered his pride. After the battle ended and Morgan fell, the town was freed from his grip. Zoro stood before Luffy and said, "You saved my life, and I owe you. But remember, my dream is to become the greatest swordsman in the world. If you stand in my way, I will not hesitate." Luffy smiled confidently and replied, "Then get on the boat, and I will not let you lose." Thus begins the first friendship in the world of One Piece. A friendship built on mutual respect, dreams, and loyalty. Zoro becomes the first official member of the Straw Hat crew. He enters the Great Sea with Luffy, where the adventure begins. Faites-nous une like pour la vidéo et abonnez-vous et partagez la vidéo et activez la cloche pour se notifier de nos nouvelles et à bientôt.